With Republicans in control of the House, the Senate, and the Oval Office, not to mention a conservative-leaning Supreme Court, President-elect Trump has a pretty clear road to pursue his legislative goals. Pretty clear, but not obstacle-free. Democrats still have a major line of defense. It is the dreaded F word. That's right, the filibuster. I don't know if you were thinking about that one, Tony.
It didn't get my attention for a while.
I saw you look up. Also known as senators' ability to speak at great length, so much so that they prevent the chamber from voting on a bill. And they can do so with flair, like when Texas Republican Ted Cruz invoked Dr. Seuss in a 2013 filibuster as he tried to block funding for Obamacare.
Do you like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham.
Cruz ended up speaking on the Senate floor where Democrats had the majority for 21 hours. Now, come January, Republicans will have a 53-47 majority in the Senate, so Democrats can use the filibuster to delay them from advancing pieces of Republican-led legislation. That is, unless there's something called cloture. Yes, it is a wonky word, but stick with me here. Cloture is a procedure that allows 60 votes to squash a filibuster, ending debate over a bill and clearing the way for a final vote. That means there has to be further negotiation and ultimately bipartisan agreement of at least 60 votes to move forward.
So this is fascinating, and if you're wondering what it all means for the incoming Trump administration, our congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane is going to join us now with some answers. Scott, good morning to you. What's the point of winning an election if you can't really govern unless you have 60 votes, not 51?
People are under the mistaken impression that politicians are eternally optimistic. They are not. They're worried about what happens next after the next election. They're always worried about the next time voters have their say. And there's concern among Republicans that if they were to surrender and somehow unilaterally give up this filibuster technique, that when Democrats take control eventually down the road sometime, the Republicans won't have that tool when they need it. The filibuster, the 60-vote threshold, protects the minority party. It's the one lever of power they maintain if the other party takes control of the Congress and the White House. And every party is concerned about giving it up for the day that they're in the minority and need it. And if you think that 60-vote threshold isn't a big deal, it is. It is difficult to get 60 people out of 100 to agree on anything in life, much less divisive issues. I once had to teach a middle school class this, Tony, what the filibuster is. So I told the kids, if half of you disagree with the other half, nobody gets ice cream. But if 60% of you agree on what flavor, vanilla or chocolate, I will give you the ice cream. We could not get 60% of the kids to agree to the same flavor. I gave him the ice cream anyhow, but I think I may have failed the lesson there.
Pushover.
You're a good man, Scott MacFarlane. So what about Trump's cabinet picks? Because they don't need to reach the 60% threshold, right? Just a simple majority. How are they expected to fare, these cabinet picks?
Oh, we're back to math now. We've shifted from social studies to math, so put your helmet on. 53-47. Let's project that's what the breakdown's going to be in the Senate. 53 Republicans, 47 Democrats. They would need 50 votes to confirm any nominee, which means if the Republicans do this by party line, they can lose 3 and still confirm whoever they want to confirm. So the question is, do any of these potential nominees lose 4 or more Republican votes? We do know that Matt Gaetz, the Attorney General likely nominee, has had some concerns inside his own party. There's the ethics investigation of allegations he denies. There's been some rancor inside the Republican conference about how he conducts his business. And there have been questions among Republicans in the U.S. Senate about whether they want to look deeper into Matt Gaetz's past. The margin of error will be 3 for all of these nominees. If there's a 4th or a 5th dissenting voice, these nominations will not pass the traditional way through the U.S. Senate.
Well, Scott, it seems like when it comes to the U.S. Senate, there's always a workaround. So if there's potentially a problem for a Matt Gaetz path to confirmation, there's something called a recess appointment, right, which is an appointment that happens outside of the normal meeting hours of the Senate. Is that possible? CBS News has reporting suggesting that it's being considered. How might it work?
Well, I like this. We've gone from math class to recess, so we're already looking up, aren't we? Recess appointments are a technique where if the Senate goes away into formal recess, leaves this place for 10 days or more, the president can use that recess to install his nominee for the rest of the Congress for another year or 2 without the Senate's permission. The Senate hasn't taken a 10-day recess in about a decade just to avoid that circumstance. If they did so, there may be political fallout. And what's more, the appointee who Trump tries to install that way would only have the job through the end of 2025, or maybe the end of 2026 if he times it right, not the entire presidency. Maybe there's political fallout, maybe not.
We'll see. Thanks for taking us to school, Scott.
He does math, social studies, recess. Coach MacFarlane, thank you so much. See you in PE class.
Yeah, mom's honking the horn at the top of the traffic circle. Grab your bag and your water bottle. We'll see you next time.